Support for Radio Friends comes from Homestead Senior Care, providing trustworthy, kind-hearted senior home care services in your loved one's home. All caregivers are thoroughly screened, extensively trained, professional, and reliable. Homestead is all about providing the highest quality home care service to fit you and your family's needs. Plus, if you would be interested in becoming a caregiver, they offer great part-time positions. Give them a call at 573-442-4333 or check it out at homestead.com. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on May 31st. We've got Dr. David Newman with us, RoseHeart Hypnotherapy Success Center. And anytime we've had Dr. Newman on, it's interesting topic. Today, we're going to talk about neurotheology. Is that
Neurotheology, yeah.
What is neurotheology?
Neurotheology is one of the newest branches of science and neuroscience, and what it is studying what happens to the human brain when one contemplates a spiritual experience or God. What happens inside your brain? What type of activity?
I've read something about this.
Yeah.
The brain is activating different
areas.
Yeah.
And usually what happens, well, for example, if we take religious figures like Buddhist monks, nuns, things like that meditate or pray a lot, and we tell them just focus on spiritual existence or God or whatever it is that you call it, okay? What we find is that it starts in the frontal cortex and it begins to get very, very active, lots of activity. And then that activity spreads out through the whole brain. The whole brain becomes very, very active, particularly down at the brainstem, which is where the subconscious is. That's interesting. But the real question is, so what happens if you ask a person who doesn't believe in God or doesn't believe in anything spiritual of any sort, what happens to them? And
Does the same thing happen?
No, nothing happens.
Nothing happens?
Nothing happens. It's like there is a wall there, and there is no additional brainwave activity whatsoever. Which, as a hypnotherapist and a neuroscience person, that's the thing. Why? What's going on in the brain, and really, why is it being activated the way it is? And so we do a lot of work in what's called spiritual progression and regression, where we're taking research quality EEGs and we're putting a person into hypnosis and we're actually taking them into a spiritual world that they can experience, and we're measuring and seeing what exactly happens, and it's just absolutely amazing.
So what does happen then?
The mind goes completely active, but when we take them into that spiritual world, a couple of things happens. The first thing is they have what's called time dysplasia, where all time suddenly changes dramatically for them. 1 minute can seem like 5 hours, or 5 hours can seem just like a few seconds. So there is no linear time.
Like eternity.
Kind of, sort of. And the other thing is they get a totally different perspective of everything in life. And when they come out of hypnosis, they bring that experience back into their lives, and they show dramatic improvement in whatever is bothering them. It's dramatically changed for the better. And they come back with deeper understanding, more compassion, more empathy for things. Suddenly things in their life that just has constantly been repeating itself, and they couldn't get over it or figure out why. They go, now I understand what I was supposed to learn from it. This is what I need to do from it. And as soon as I do, bam, it's over, and it no longer bothers them. They just
so it's forward. Almost like a switch has been flicked.
Exactly.
But you're saying there. Go back to when we first started.
Sure.
So people who believe in the existence of God, when they pray, their brain becomes more active.
Yes.
The whole brain becomes more active, and it goes down to
the base of the brain.
To the base of the brain.
Right back here. Yeah.
For people who do not believe in a spiritual being or in God,
there's no increase in brain activity whatsoever.
Well, they wouldn't know how. They wouldn't pray normally anyway, would they?
Even if they say, I don't know how to pray, go, okay, fine. Just think about nothing.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. And you have to understand that when we're doing research, we have to be very, very careful how much coaching we give the person, because we don't want to skew the results. So that's why when I talk to a person, I go, okay, what I want you to do is think about God, or think about spirituality, or think about whatever it is that you want to, even if it's just in a meditative state, find that place. Okay? And they try. But if the person has no beliefs like that, there is no increase in brainwave activity whatsoever. Yeah, looking at the whole brain, it's just amazing.
When the brain starts increasing its activity, does it lead to anything else, perhaps in ESP or what is another word for ESP?
What, extrasensory perception and
extrasensory,
clairvoyance, things like
right.
that? Yes and no, but what people do is, in the spiritual progression, we'll actually advance them into the spiritual world where they'll talk to what we like to call as your council of elders or your advisors, okay? And one of the things that I had one client do, I said, now you've had these 3 problems. What I want you to do is ask your advisors to show you, just pick a problem, but show you every possible decision that you could make and what is the outcome of that decision.
Was this under hypnosis?
This was under hypnosis. And they did that, and they came back and they said, I know exactly what I need to do. And I said, what did they show you? And they said, well, it was like this whole room was full of screens, and I was seeing every single possible scenario. And then the right one, or the most productive one for me, illuminated. And I sat down there and saw that, but she goes, I could see the outcomes of all of them, and I could make the choice. It was total free choice. I could make the choice of what I wanted.
Of
every possible choice they could make. And she goes, I thought I was in hypnosis for hours, and she was in hypnosis for 45 minutes, but she thought it was hours.
The human brain is just absolutely astounding. Isn't
it? It is.
And there's so much that we don't understand, and we probably will never understand.
Not in my lifetime. We will never understand it all in my lifetime. And that's, for me, that's the drive in the research, because once I come up with an answer to a question, I come up with 5 or 6 more questions. What if? And I know that I will die before I ever get all the questions answered. So I hope somebody else will pick up my research and continue moving on with it, and find out what they can, because it's an amazing area.
We're almost out of time, but I mentioned ESP. Do you believe in ESP?
Yeah.
ESP.
Sure.
Yeah, I do too, because it's amazing how you can pick up a thought that somebody has sent without even trying.
Without even trying, sure.
It just pops in. How does that work?
I don't know exactly how it works. I can tell you where the activation begins in the brain, but here's what I think happened, and this is just me talking. I think that this is a leftover from the primordial days when we were out there and we had to make life and death decisions very, very quickly based upon a lot of stuff. And I think that this was one of the way that our Creator gave us to be able to communicate with that. So if there's big danger right here and you're walking into it, I could warn you without being able to necessarily communicate with you.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion.
Through telepathy.
Through telepathy.
All right.
Yeah.
If you want more information about this or hypnotherapy, Dr. David Newman, fascinating man to visit with. You can go to the website. It's RoseHeart Hypnotherapy Success Centers, right?
The website is www.mohyp.com.
Okay.
Or you can call us at 888-667. 888-667-9997. You can see how often I call myself.
Give us a website again.
www.mohyp.com.
Okay. But if you Google RoseHeart Hypnotherapy,
you'll see it.
Okay.
We pop up everywhere.
Dr. David Newman, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.